Next on the news.
Viva Igreja Timor-Leste!
Pope Francis celebrated Mass with an estimated 700,000 of the faithful in East Timor as he continues his historic tour of Asia. A joyful celebration at the opening Mass of the International Eucharistic Congress in Ecuador, where 1,600 children received their first Holy Communion. Parishioners gathered at the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph on the feast day of St. Peter Claver to celebrate the patron saint of African Americans. Plus, we'll introduce you to two women who are on a journey to write a book about every Catholic church in Brooklyn. I'm Christine Persichetti. Currents News starts right now. Pope Francis wrapped up a busy day in East Timor. After several meetings with church officials, the pontiff presided over Mass, and about half of the people who live in the mostly Catholic country turned out for the celebration. Some 700,000 people gathered to celebrate Mass with Pope Francis on his last stop in East Timor. That's nearly half of the country's population. Hundreds of singers made up the choir. During his homily, the Holy Father applauded the culture of youth in East Timor. It's one of the youngest countries in the world, with a median age of just 20 years old.
Esta realidad se revela hermosa en Timor-Leste porque hay muchos niños. Y ustedes son un país joven en el que en cada rincón la vida se siente palpitar y bullir. Y la presencia de cada juventud y de tantos niños es un regalo, es un don inmenso.
Earlier in the day, the Pope was welcomed by children with disabilities who were taken care of by the nuns of the Alma congregation. He thanked the sisters for what they do and also thanked the children.
Porque ellos nos enseñan a nosotros cómo debemos dejarnos cuidar por Dios.
After that meeting, the Pope went to the Cathedral of the Immaculate Conception in Dili, where he met with bishops, priests, religious, and lay people committed to the work of evangelization in the country. The Holy Father told them we need to be a missionary church, one that goes out of its comfort zone to evangelize.
En el Evangelio, los confines son el centro. Y una iglesia que no tiene capacidad de confines y que se esconde en el centro es una iglesia muy enferma.
Pope Francis heads to Singapore on Wednesday, where he's set to meet with members of the Society of Jesus, the President and Prime Minister, and host an interreligious meeting with young people. Speaking of young people, they took center stage at the 53rd International Eucharistic Congress in Ecuador. The event began in a very striking way, with 1,600 children making their first communion. More than 20,000 people from all over the world came to the capital city of Quito to take part. Pope Francis also delivered a video message that he recorded before setting out on his trip to Oceania and Asia.
Alegra poder participar, aunque sea desde la distancia, en este Congreso Eucarístico Internacional que se celebra en la ciudad de San Francisco de Quito.
The Holy Father went on to tell the children that making your first communion means wanting to be closer to Jesus every day, to grow in friendship with him, adding the Lord needs you to be able to work the miracle, that your joy may reach many of your family members and friends. In all, there are more than 50 delegations from around the world participating in the Eucharistic Congress. Throughout the week, the faithful will reflect on the value of the Eucharist today and will discuss present-day world challenges, from migration to war. Parishioners gathered at the Co-Cathedral of St. Joseph on the feast day of St. Peter Claver, the patron saint of African Americans. The Spanish priest baptized 300,000 enslaved people in Colombia during the 17th century. Vespers and Eucharistic Adoration were held Monday evening to recognize his feast day. There's usually a Mass, but the celebrant, Father Alonso Cox, who's the director of liturgy for the diocese, felt in this year of Eucharistic revival, praying before the Blessed Sacrament was appropriate. The Knights and Ladies Auxiliary of St. Peter Claver, which is the oldest black fraternal organization in the country, reflected on the work that the saint started.
The same problems that existed during St. Peter Claver's time exist today, just in different formats. So there's still equality, issues that need to be taken care of. There's pro-life issues that need to be addressed, and all of those fell within his realm of work.
I'm sure he felt in his heart that all of us should be treated the same, should have the same chances in life. And he was able to do something about it, and I think that's important for all of us.
The evening was also an opportunity to remember Monsignor Paul Jervis, who passed away in September of 2023. Monsignor Jervis spent nearly 24 years of his priesthood promoting the cause for canonization of Monsignor Bernard Quinn, who helped establish the St. Peter Claver Church in Brooklyn for Black Catholics. Former President Donald Trump and Vice President Kamala Harris are expected to attend this year's Al Smith dinner in New York next month. Catholic comedian Jim Gaffigan has been tapped to host the annual event organized by the Archdiocese of New York. Gaffigan, who frequently references his faith in his stand-up comedy act, says he's honored to be this year's MC on October 17th. The event raises money for charitable causes in the Archdiocese and is named after four-term New York Governor Al Smith, who was the first Catholic to be nominated for president by a major party. Smith was the Democratic nominee in 1928. And finally tonight, we met up with two women who are on a journey that is taking them to every Catholic church in Brooklyn. They're writing about their experiences and compiling them into a book about appreciating the beauty and history around you. Currents News' Jessica Easthope has the story from Bay Ridge.
There are about 50 people at the 8:30 a.m. Mass at Our Lady of Angels Church in Bay Ridge. Only two are there to preserve history.
We're not theologians, not artists, we're not historians. We're just two women who live in Brooklyn, and we go, and whatever we get from the Mass, that's what we write about.
Sitting beside Roseanne Seminara and Mary Wheelahan are their notebooks and pens. As they participate in Mass, they write. Their thoughts and observations will one day be a book.
And she said, would you like to? And I thought, what a great idea. So for me, it's just a journey, which, morphed into something more than that.
The journey started in May of 2023 at Good Shepherd in Sheepshead Bay, Mary's home parish. And since then, the two women have been on a mission to visit every church in Brooklyn. Our Lady of Angels is number 81. Through each new chapter of their own lives, Roseanne and Mary have let faith guide them.
It keeps you going. Life happens. And if you don't have a higher being, I think, and for us, that's God, I don't think you could make it through your day.
So they decided to have no regrets and instead put pen to paper, writing their book for not just Catholics, but anyone looking to appreciate what they have in the here and now.
If you don't take advantage of it when you have it, you may look back with regret and say, I wish I had.
Every church presented a lesson for me to learn.
The lessons have been found in the old pews or the faces of parishioners, a little piece of each place kept alive with their words.
I really felt I was called to do something, and every time I accomplish another goal in my life, I always ask, was that the something? I think this is the something. I think this is it.
In Bay Ridge, Jessica Easthope, Currents News.
Roseanne and Mary are hoping to make it to every church in Brooklyn by the end of this year, and then will work to nail down the pages of their book in 2025. We look forward to it. And before we go, do you have a story idea or want to share a tip? Email us at newstips@desalesmedia.org or call our 24-hour number, 718-517-3122. That is this Currents News Update. I'm Christine Persichetti. Thank you for joining us because we are putting your faith in the news. Hope to see you again next time.